Some stories begin with a bang. This one begins with a goodbye. Charlie Heler didn't know this was the last morning he'd make coffee for his wife. He didn't know that a casual goodbye at the door would echo through his soul for the rest of his life. There she stood, Sarah, radiant and warm, heading out for a 5-day business trip to London. She teased him about coming along, but he laughed it off. Work was piling up. Next time, he promised. She smiled, kissed him, and disappeared out the front door. He didn't know he'd never see her again. That same morning, Charlie headed off to work. But he wasn't just another commuter stuck in traffic. Charlie was a cryptographer for the CIA, a genius in a quiet room. The kind of man who could break a code faster than most people could solve a Sudoku. And today, something strange was waiting for him. Once he made it through the layers of biometric security, metal detectors, and retina scans, Charlie sat down at his workstation. A secure line flashed. It was Inquilin, the agency's most elusive informant. For 5 years, Inquilin had been feeding Charlie top-tier intel, all anonymously. But today's transmission came with a warning. Open this only when you're alone. No exceptions. Charlie hesitated, then waited for everyone to clear out. Only then did he open the file. And what he saw changed everything. The decrypted files revealed that Alex Moore, Charlie's own boss, was orchestrating drone strikes on foreign soil. Not just any strikes, false flag operations. He was disguising politically motivated attacks as counterterrorism. Civilians were dying, entire buildings leveled, and the official record? Faked. Charlie's blood ran cold. He confided in a colleague, but instead of comfort, he got a warning. Don't say another word. You don't know who's listening. Charlie tried to shake it off. Maybe it wasn't real. Maybe Inquilin made a mistake. He reached for his phone and dialed Sarah. No answer. He figured she was busy, probably in a meeting. He tried again before bed. Still nothing. The next morning, Charlie was summoned to the CIA director's office by Moore himself. There was no small talk. Something's happened in London, Moore said grimly. Charlie's heart dropped. He already knew what was coming, but his mind fought to deny it. Director Samantha broke the news. A terrorist bombing had ripped through a hotel in the heart of London, Sarah's hotel. Footage confirmed the worst. Sarah had been taken hostage during the chaos. She didn't make it out. Charlie didn't speak. He didn't cry. He just sat there, frozen, the color draining from his face. The woman he loved was gone, and something inside him shattered. For days, Charlie went through the motions, grieving silently, smiling when he needed to, drinking alone when no one was watching. But when the tears dried and the anger settled, something else took its place. Purpose. Charlie wasn't just going to mourn. He was going to dig. And if there was a conspiracy behind Sarah's death, he was going to rip it into the light. He began connecting dots, pulling footage, analyzing patterns. Eventually, he identified the terrorists responsible: Gretchen, Frank, Elish, Mishka Blick, and their leader, Hor Schiller. The deeper Charlie dug, the clearer it became. This wasn't just random terrorism. This was something bigger, and worse. Moore and Caleb already knew. They told him it wasn't personal, that Sarah's death was collateral damage in a much bigger operation. They even tried to gaslight him, claiming he was unstable, unfit to continue working. They assigned him a shrink. But Charlie had other plans. He threatened to leak the files unless they cooperated. He said he'd set up a dead man's switch, one wrong move, and the truth would flood the press. Moore didn't like being backed into a corner, but he relented, offering Charlie what he asked for: training. Charlie wanted to find these people, and he wanted to kill them. He wasn't a soldier, he wasn't a killer, but he was willing to become one. Under the hard eyes of Colonel Henderson, Charlie entered a CIA training facility where nothing was sugar-coated and failure meant death. But Charlie struggled. He couldn't shoot straight. He hesitated on the trigger. He flinched when people shouted, "You're not built for this." Henderson told him. "You're a thinker, not a killer." Charlie said nothing. What he didn't say was, "I don't care." He wasn't trying to become a weapon. He already was one. He just hadn't figured out how to aim yet. Back at CIA headquarters, Moore wasn't training anyone. He was hunting. Desperate to find Charlie's dead man switch, he tore apart Charlie's office, home, even the old bar he used to visit. Nothing. Until he found it, a hidden bug in his own office. Charlie had been listening the whole time. The switch was a bluff, and Moore had just realized it. He called Henderson immediately, "Terminate the asset." But when Henderson went to find him, Charlie was already gone, and his war had just begun. When a man has nothing left to lose, he stops being afraid. Charlie had left behind the identity the world knew. No more cubicles, no more conference calls. He was off-grid, sleeping in motels, buying burner phones, changing cars. Every move calculated, every step planned. His first target was Mishka Blick, the tech expert of the terrorist cell, a man who could hack into any system and vanish before the echo of his keystroke faded. But Charlie had one thing Mishka didn't, a reason. He tracked Mishka to a nightclub in Prague and waited. Mishka was drunk, arrogant, surrounded by two women who laughed at everything he said. Charlie waited until he was alone, followed him into a back alley. Mishka turned, smirking. "You don't look like a fan." "I'm not." The gun shook in Charlie's hand, but his voice didn't. Mishka laughed. "You're not gonna shoot me." Charlie didn't reply. He squeezed the trigger. Once. Then again. When it was over, Mishka's blood pooled in the cold rain. Charlie stood there for a moment, breathing heavy. Not proud, not guilty, just empty. News spread fast. Mishka Blick, dead in a back alley. Authorities suspected gang violence. The CIA suspected something else. Moore was furious. He knew who was responsible. But without proof, he couldn't act. He called in his fixer, a ghost named Gideon West. Ex-Black Ops. No fingerprints, no morals. Just one goal. Erase Charlie Heler. Charlie's second target, Elish, the muscle of the group, former mercenary, rumored to have killed a man with his bare hands during a poker game in Istanbul. He was hiding in Bogota, using a fake name and a fake limp. Charlie found him through flight logs, narrowed down by satellite heat maps and a decrypted email string. This time it wasn't a bullet. It was a knife. Close, violent, messy. Charlie almost didn't survive. But in the end, Elish bled out on the hotel floor while Charlie lay next to him, clutching his side. The pain was real. But it reminded him, he was still alive. Gretchen was next. She was the planner. The one who picked the hotel, the one who made sure Sarah was there. Charlie found her in Tokyo. She was attending an underground auction, trying to sell off hard drives with stolen intel. Charlie cornered her in a back stairwell. "I know who you are," she said. "You think this changes anything? She was just another pawn." Charlie didn't answer. He raised the gun. She laughed. "You're not a hero, Charlie. You're just another monster." Bang. Maybe he was, but monsters don't cry afterward. Charlie did. 3 down, 2 to go. But Charlie was running out of time. Gideon West was getting close. Too close. Charlie could feel it. Every time he used a phone, every time he touched a computer, he felt eyes watching. He switched tactics, went dark again, used old methods, dead drops, physical maps, face-to-face meetings. In Berlin, he found Frank, the logistics guy. Always paranoid, always moving. Charlie didn't wait. No warnings, no confrontation. A car bomb ended it. Quick, final. For once, Charlie didn't feel anything. He was becoming the thing he swore he never would be, but he still had one name left. Horst Schiller. Schiller wasn't just a terrorist. He was a former CIA asset, trained, paid, and protected. But when he became inconvenient, the agency cut him loose. He didn't take it well. Schiller formed a new cell, filled with rage and vengeance. He used CIA tactics against the CIA, and the bombing that killed Sarah? That was a message. You made me. Now watch me burn what you built. Charlie finally understood. It wasn't just about terror, it was revenge. But he wasn't the only one with that motive anymore. Moore couldn't contain it any longer. The agency was under pressure. Senators were asking questions. Whispers of leaked files were surfacing in European papers. He ordered Gideon West to take Charlie out, no matter the cost. Gideon didn't hesitate. He set a trap in Vienna. Fake intel, a burner phone, an abandoned warehouse. Charlie walked in, and the door locked behind him. The room was pitch black. Charlie's boots echoed against the concrete floor. A single light bulb flickered to life overhead. Then came the voice. Calm, cold, precise. Welcome home, Mr. Heler. Gideon West stepped from the shadows, dressed in black, armed, smiling like a man who already knew the ending. You've been busy, he said. 5 bodies in 6 countries. You've made quite the mess. Charlie kept his gun low. I'm cleaning up someone else's. Gideon cocked his head. You think this is justice? Charlie said nothing. You think killing Schiller will bring her back? Charlie's finger curled around the trigger. No, but it'll stop him from doing it again. The fight wasn't cinematic. There were no monologues, no slow-motion kicks, just violence, brutal, fast, real. Charlie had training, but Gideon was different. He was made for this. Bones cracked, blood sprayed, a knife sliced across Charlie's side. He hit the ground, rolled, came up swinging, a knee to the ribs, a punch to the throat, and then silence. Gideon lay sprawled on the floor, breathing, but unconscious. Charlie didn't kill him. He couldn't. He'd already lost enough of himself. Charlie limped out of the warehouse. The next lead came from Gideon's phone, a secure message from Schiller himself. Coordinates, a meeting. Location, Sarajevo, the city where it all began, where Schiller was first recruited by the CIA. Charlie knew this was it, the final chapter. Sarajevo, cold, quiet, broken. Charlie moved like a ghost, blending into the shadows. Every corner felt like a memory. Every sound reminded him of Sarah's voice. He checked into a cheap hotel, cleaned his wounds, stared at himself in the mirror. He barely recognized the man staring back, half his face bruised, his eyes bloodshot. But the fire in them? Still there, burning. He found Schiller inside an abandoned cathedral. The stained glass was shattered. The pews were covered in dust. Schiller stood alone at the altar, hands clasped behind his back. You made it, he said. I wasn't sure you had it in you. Charlie stepped forward, gun in hand. Why Sarah? He asked. Schiller turned slowly. Why not? Charlie's jaw clenched. She wasn't part of this. She was everything, Schiller snapped. Collateral damage in a game they started. You think I chose that hotel by accident? That day? That hour? Charlie didn't answer. She was working for them? Schiller said. She was reporting on you. The words felt like a punch to the chest. No, Charlie whispered. She was spying on you, Charlie, Schiller said. That's why she was there. That's why she died. Not because of me, because of them. Charlie lowered his gun slightly, his mind spinning. She loved me, he said. Maybe, Schiller replied. But she loved the truth more. He tossed a file to Charlie's feet. Inside were pages of surveillance reports, photos, dates, GPS logs, all in Sarah's handwriting. Charlie dropped to his knees. The world felt like it was tilting. She worked for Moore, Schiller said. She was his insurance policy, watching you, monitoring your loyalty, making sure you never turned on them. The room spun. It made sense now. The late-night calls, the moments she'd disappear without reason, the questions she used to ask. He wanted to scream, but all he did was whisper, Why didn't she tell me? Schiller walked forward. Because she loved you, and she knew what would happen if you found out. Charlie stood, slowly. His gun was shaking in his hand. You killed her, he said. I exposed her, Schiller replied. Moore killed her. I just gave him the excuse. Charlie pulled the trigger. Click, empty. Schiller smiled. I took the bullets out while you were unconscious. Back in Vienna. Charlie lunged. They crashed through a row of pews, fists flying. This wasn't about revenge anymore, this was about truth, about cleansing fire. Charlie won. But it didn't feel like victory. Schiller lay on the ground, bleeding, smiling. You'll never be free of them, he said. Even now, Moore's watching. Charlie leaned in close. Then I'll make sure he sees everything. He took Schiller's phone, pulled the hard drive from his jacket. Years of intel, names, dates, operations. A virus embedded in the files, designed to expose everything if uploaded. Sarah's final revenge. Charlie went dark again. He sent the files to every major news outlet on Earth. Within 24 hours, the CIA was on fire. Moore was arrested. A dozen agents disappeared. Some resigned. Some vanished without a trace. Schiller died 2 days later in an underground medical clinic. His last words were, "Tell him I won." Charlie never stopped moving. New name, new face, new life. But some nights, when the wind is just right, he hears Sarah's laugh in the distance. And for a moment, he forgets the blood, the lies, the war. And he remembers what it felt like to be human. 6 months later, the world had changed. Charlie watched it all from a distance. News anchors stumbling over leaks, governments denying everything, and the agency pretending they had nothing to hide. But they knew. Everyone knew. The truth was out. The myth was shattered. And Charlie? He was just a ghost now. He lived in a coastal village in southern Greece. No phones, no internet. He fished at dawn. He painted. He read books he never had time for before. He started over. But peace is a fragile thing, and ghosts don't rest easy. Every shadow felt like a threat. Every letter that arrived, unsigned, sent a chill through his spine. He knew it was only a matter of time before someone came knocking. And then, one morning, it happened. He came back from the harbor. His door was slightly ajar. Inside, nothing taken. Just a small envelope on his table. No return address, no name. He opened it. Inside was a single photo, black and white, taken years ago. It showed Sarah, sitting at a table, smiling. And across from her, Charlie. But here's the catch. He didn't remember the moment. And the back of the photo read, "We were always watching. M." Charlie didn't run this time. He sat down, lit a cigarette, let the wind come in through the broken shutters. If they wanted him, they knew where to find him. But for now, he had one last thing to do. He opened the box he kept buried under the floorboards. Inside, Sarah's journal, his old watch, and a USB drive. The last message she ever recorded. He hadn't listened. Not yet. Not until now. The voice crackled to life. "Charlie, if you're hearing this, then I guess you found everything." He closed his eyes. Her voice was soft. Honest. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you. About the agency, about the surveillance, about me." A pause. Then, "I was scared. Not of you, but of losing you." He felt his throat tighten. "You always believed in good and evil, black and white. But the world lives in the gray, Charlie, and I chose to stay there, because if I could keep you in the light, even for a little while, it was worth it." She continued. "They'll come after you now. They'll call you a traitor, a killer. But I know the truth. I know you." Another pause. Then one final line. "Don't let them decide how your story ends." The message ended. Charlie sat in silence. He didn't cry. He didn't move. But inside, something shifted. Not pain, not rage, just clarity. The next morning, Charlie left the house. He walked to the edge of the cliff that overlooked the sea, and he dropped the USB drive, watched it vanish beneath the waves. He didn't need revenge anymore. He didn't need answers. He just needed the silence. But somewhere, far away, in a dimly lit bunker buried beneath Washington, Moore sat at a desk, watching, listening, still pulling strings. "You think this is over?" he muttered. He turned to his assistant. "Activate Project Revenant." Back in Greece, Charlie packed a single bag, a burner phone, a passport, and a small photo of Sarah. He locked the door behind him and didn't look back. He didn't know what was coming next, but this time, he'd be ready. Voiceover, Charlie's final words. "There's no such thing as freedom, not when you've seen the truth. But there's peace, in small moments, in stolen hours, in choosing not to become the monster they built you to be. I'll never be the man I was. But maybe, just maybe, I can be something else. Not their weapon, not their soldier, not their ghost, just a man."